Hey guys, Bro Chad here, back at it again with another deep dive into book characters who are gone too soon. Rest in peace, Lennie Small. You'll always live on in our hearts. Okay, back to our deep dive into the famous book of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Lennie Small, a man who knows what he does is wrong or right, but what he doesn't understand is when someone else is in the wrong or right. For example, on page 84 and page 85 of the book, Lennie says, "Now maybe George ain't gonna let me tend no rabbits if he finds out you got killed." This shows that he does understand, that he has consequences for what he does, but what he doesn't understand is how other people can be in the wrong as well. In all honesty, it doesn't seem like he understands fully what is right and wrong unless he is told directly, "This will happen if you do this, or that." Taking a deeper dive does not mean only looking at his mentality, even if there is a lot to dig up on that. But we have to look at his actions as well, so we can connect them as evidence about our statements about his mentality. To support our statement about how Lennie doesn't understand when people are in the wrong, let's take a dive into pages 30 and 31, as well as 86 through 92. If you have not read the book, then I suggest clicking off this video because we'll be pulling up some major spoilers. For 30 to 31, we'll be pulling up the first time Curly's wife is introduced. She is seen as a lady of temptation and comes around daily saying that she is trying to find her husband, but all of the ranch workers are able to see that she is trying to be unfaithful. But Lennie is absolutely oblivious, and to show this we can see the contrast between Lennie and the other men in the room to her advances. As said by Slim on page 32, "Well, you ain't trying very hard. I seen him going in your house." And Lennie's reaction was just as starstruck by her looks on page 32 as well. Lennie stared at the doorway where she had been. Gosh, she was pretty. Lennie struggles to figure out if other people are lying to him and usually assumes everybody is speaking literally. For example, when Crooks is messing with him, page 74, in his room and poses a hypothetical situation of what would happen if George was hurt, Lennie asks who had hurt George. Suddenly, Lennie's eyes centered and grew quiet and mad. He stood up and walked dangerously towards Crooks. "Who hurt George?" he demanded. This shows us how Lennie can't fully understand the difference between joking and seriousness. He's also unable to distinguish between people telling him something happened and them doing it. Thinking of the past or future is difficult for him, so he interprets things as though they have just happened instead of thinking what others said. On page 63, Curly is trying to beat up Lennie, but George encounters Lennie to fight back, and he ends up crushing Curly's fist. Curly's fist was swinging when Lennie reached for it. The next minute, Curly was flopping like a fish on a line, and his closed fist was lost in Lennie's big hand. He's totally unaware of how strong he is, and the same can be seen when he accidentally kills small animals when trying to pet them. Even if he regrets his actions later, he acts on the spur of the moment and always with as much force as he could muster. Especially when he accidentally kills the puppy and hurls it away out of anger. "God damn," he cried. "Why did you gotta be killed? You ain't so little as mice." The same issue arises when he is trying to stop Curly's wife from yelling. Without any self-control, it's easy for him to end up hurting people, even if he almost always doesn't react. When he does, it's always with far more force than is necessary. Okay. So, my fellow Chads, this is the end of our deep dive into Lennie Small, sadly. We have loved this character despite the bad things he has done, and the way he died was not right for Lennie. A small summary of this deep dive will be presented here. We dove deep into this book character and the findings we pulled from the book as well. As the movie we showed here in this dive, that Lennie was a character who was developed beautifully and accurately, represents the way a man with mental incapacities would be treated and how he is overlooked. Along with the fact that he was not treated medically, the way a man like him would be in the current time period. Thank you, my Chads. If you survived this deep dive to the point, I hope you see you next time in the rest of my deep dive series.